I'm not sure I agree with ya 100% on your police work there, Lou. Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Listen, I feel like Lou is just trying his damnedest.
I have to say, this is the snowiest fucking movie we could muster. Because we said we're doing a snow month, and honestly, for the rest of this month, it's weak. And our choice last week was also not incredibly snow heavy, but this movie is...
It's the snow movie.
It's the snow movie.
Yeah, no.
So...
This is... I think we peaked with this one this month.
It's our strongest snow... Yeah, our strongest snow-based choice.
Yeah, it is...
For sure.
The snow is a character itself in this movie, so...
Oh, are we getting Coen Brothers film bro analytical deep about this? Is the snow a character?
I don't know. That's just
she could be.
She could be. That was the only coherent thought that I had while I watched this movie.
It's I know there are a ton of this movie's like cinematically so beautiful to me. And I love there's so many scenes where like the sky is like just like the morning time, and so it's like white, and so the snow like bleeds into the sky, and everything you just like it's just like a white prism of Minnesota. I've never been to Minnesota, so if any of our listeners out there are from the Midwest and want to roast me on my impression, like, please do. But also, like, do people actually talk like that? Because, like, you know when people make fun of, like, Boston, and you watch The Departed, and you're like, God, does everyone talk like that? Like, no. Like, some people do, but, like, no. So I want somebody from the Midwest, like, please. Does everyone say, like, oh, yeah, you betcha? Like...
I think I know, like, 2 people from Minnesota, and the accent's there, but it's not that. It's definitely in the vein of, like, Boston, where it's like, okay.
All right.
Some people are really bad. Some people are just, it's kind of there.
Not everyone is Marky Mark from the Funky Bunch. But, this is The Swamp. The Swamp is an acronym. Yeah.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
And we're doing Snow Month, if you didn't get all of our snow banter. Is each month we sometimes try to do a theme, and I just recently moved to upstate New York where it's snowy as fuck. So instead of doing Christmas movies, which kind of fucking suck, we're like, let's do a weather-based theme, which is snow, which really gave us a lot of leeway to kind of just do whatever the fuck we want, but we really drove it home on snow this week.
Yeah, can you give us a snow update? I know last week you said you were going to tell us where the snow is.
Yeah, so it's still at about I'd put it at like a 1 out of 10 as far as snow. It actually is raining right now, which is not too bad, but it is like constantly flurrying. Like I constantly feel like I'm in a snow globe. It's always falling, but it's never sticking to the ground, which is honestly nice. But I'm just impending in these upcoming weeks of when it's raining a ton, where all this rain just becomes snow. There's something called the lake effect. I am not science-brained enough to Google what it means, but since we're by one of the Great Lakes, I think it means that shit's gonna get really fucked. I don't know.
Yeah, that sounds right. She's just gonna hit the fan real fast.
Yeah, but so, yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10, the snow here is about a 1 to 0. What about New England?
It's still a 0. Constant 0. Apparently we're supposed to get snow this week, but we'll see.
So clearly nobody has informed Mother Earth that our podcast is snow-themed this month, so she better get on her fucking shit so I can give a snow update to our listeners who care so much.
Yeah, does someone have her number? Can we call her?
Right. Sometimes I forget that people live in, like, places where it doesn't snow. Right?
Like California exists?
Or like Australia, or like South America. Literally, parts of our country where there's no snow. Whack as fuck. But yeah, we're talking about Fargo. We're talking about Fargo, 1996, Coen Brothers masterpiece? ? Up for you to decide.
That's what everyone's coined it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say I am not a Coen Brothers film bro. And
no, me neither.
I wouldn't say I respect. Like, I think if
I have zero respect for the Coen Brothers.
No, that's not really what I mean. But, like, the Coen Brothers film bro type seem incredibly insufferable. Because at least the Quentin Tarantino type film bro, I can really make fun of. But I feel like the Coen brothers type film bro is just like, I don't know what to say. But I will say I do respect the Coen brothers, and I do think this is their best movie. Would you agree with me?
See, I think I've only ever seen, like, maybe one other Coen brothers movie. I've never seen, like, The Big Lebowski.
The Big Lebowski?
No, haven't seen it.
Oh, really?
Never seen it.
All right. Yeah, it's good. What about The Ballad of Buster Scruggs?
Nope. The only other one I've seen is Blood Simple, which was their first movie. It also stars Frances McDormand, and it's like a neo-noir type thing. I don't know. It was
interesting.
I had to watch it for the one film class I ever took, which gives me...
Yeah, we are so qualified to have a movie podcast.
Exactly.
Between the two of us, I think we have about maybe 5 college credits worth of film-based education.
Yeah, someone at work today was like, "Oh yeah, your other coworker, Grace. Actually, I'll give Grace a shout out. She's a great listener. She tunes in a lot." What was it? One of my coworkers was talking about how he heard through the grapevine from Grace that we have a podcast, and he's like, "Yeah, like what kind of movies do you do?" And I'm sitting there, I'm like, "Charlie and the Chocolate Factory." I had to like very quickly be like, "We have no credibility."
Yeah, no, I think we've said before, and I think it's a really great way to put it, that this is a movie podcast, not a film podcast. If you're looking for any sort of, like, hot, critical, and informed takes, like, it simply is not here. But do you want to know something that I was today years old when I found out?
Please enlighten me.
So, you mentioned how Frances McDormand was in this other Coen Brothers movie that you watched. Did you know she is married to one of them?
Yeah.
I didn't fucking know that.
Oh, yeah.
Still, to this day, still married.
Outstanding.
To a Coen brother.
That feels right. I don't know. Something about that seems right. I don't know much about the Coen brothers, but it feels like Frances McDormand should be married to one of them.
Yeah, I wasn't necessarily shocked or anything, but then I was just like, why the fuck did I not know that? Like, I feel like I know a substantial amount of information about those two entities separately, but I guess I just never...
I don't know. At the same time...
never realized.
At the same time, Frances McDormand doesn't seem like a person who would, like, be married. She'd be married to, like, some entity, right? Something that's not, like, real, not a person. Right.
Like, you know when Whoopi Goldberg says, like, I don't want to get married because I don't want somebody in my house? I get that vibe from Frances as well.
100%. 100%.
I will say, though, that her and her husband in this movie we have complained time and time again about on-screen compatibility, and it is off the charts between Marge and Norm Gustafson.
I've never seen a better couple. I don't know a better couple.
Shakes me to my core. I guess I know that this is, like, part of the Coen brothers, like, sort of methods or whatever, is that they have the characters kind of come up with their own backstories for their characters. So, like, they don't tell their character, you know, they don't say, like, oh, this is your character, this is, you know, what you should be channeling. They're like, oh, no, this is your character. From what you've gathered in the script, we want you to come up with the backstory. And, like, not that it's necessarily going to permeate into the film, but it, like, informs the, you know, way they speak to each other. And I guess they did that a lot with this couple about, like, that, you know, the decision for Norm to stay home while she was like her decision to keep working while she's pregnant, and him to not be a police officer anymore and to pursue painting. Like, this whole thing, they had them, like, work all that out on their own, I guess.
I love that.
Which it clearly works, because I fucking believe it. Like, but, like, the feminist urge to be a pregnant cop while your husband pursues his duck painting career, like, I'm sorry.
Gives me you and Henry vibes, honestly.
Yeah, well, okay, first of all, I could never and will never be a police officer, and I could never and will never be pregnant.
No.
Those are simply two things that just will not be happening to me.
He's, like, running like a...
But yeah, that I'm the lady on the job, and Henry's, like, at home roasting me a feast.
Exactly.
That's certainly...
right up your alley.
My stay-at-home husband. Henry's giving me a solemn nod from the kitchen.
Should we give a brief overview before we start, like, gushing too much about Norm and Marge?
Right. I did have prepared because I knew, I was like, if left to my own devices and you say, what is Fargo about? I would be like, mommy cop Frances McDormand solves big crime? Snow time? Like
Steve Buscemi?
Like that's Steve Buscemi? Bad guy Steve Buscemi? What a surprise. But so if you haven't seen Fargo, I would recommend it. I think it's a really interesting watch, and it's like 96 minutes, so it's a good length movie. We preach the 90-minute film in this house.
We'll never get past like 90-minute films.
When I make you watch The Lord of the Rings.
Oh God, yeah.
There will come a day where I will force upon you the Lord of the Rings trilogy in a single setting, and I think it will break. I think it will break this podcast.
It's fine. We can do that. Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, right?
We'll take a full 24 hours.
Yeah, right. I love to do all 3 Lord of the Rings in a row, though. That's the only... I mean, it's not the only way to do it, but it's my preferred way. But Fargo, 90-minute film. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But if you have seen it and you need a refresher, because honestly, I would probably need a quick refresher about the intricacies of this heist. So, Jerry Lundegaard, played by William H. Macy, also the dad from Shameless, if you need to, like, put that into contextual perspective. He works for his father-in-law's car dealership and has gotten himself into some sort of deep shit of financial trouble that we literally do not learn the details about, but it is implied that he is perhaps millions of dollars in some sort of debt. And he's desperate. This man's is desperate for some cash, but he, like, for some reason does not really let on to any details about the situation, and honestly, I don't really care. But so he concocts this plan, this scheme, with one of the mechanics who works at the dealership, and he's like, hey, can you get 2 of your friends to kidnap my wife? And he's like, yeah, sure, I guess. Because I'm a mechanic, I have shady friends who are willing to kidnap your wife. So Steve Buscemi and some other guy are these 2 criminal type figures, and they take Jerry Lundegaard's wife and hold her for ransom. And the plan is that they're gonna basically extort the father-in-law for a fuck ton of money. Because Jerry's like, yeah, he is loaded. But for some reason, he can't just, like, ask him for a favor or a loan or something. Like, he literally says, he's like, yeah, that's just simply not something I can do. And this is just the most elaborate display of fragile masculinity I have ever seen. He's like, I can't ask my father-in-law, who is my employer, for financial help, so I will put my wife's life at risk, basically, to do so. Well, I guess he doesn't really realize that her life will be at risk, but still, he doesn't even let her in on it. He's not even like, well, I guess she would,
yeah, you can't.
We don't know the dynamic
Immediate
of the situation,
divorce.
But yeah. It's like, hey, so these 2 guys are going to break and enter into our home. They will be kidnapping you. Just be cool about it. Don't worry.
Just go willingly.
I'm the guy on the inside. But so then, for some reason, he's like, wait, I have this proposal for a parking lot. And the father-in-law is like, yeah, that sounds great. Me and my business partner, Stan Grossman, would love to hear your proposal for this parking lot, and we'll give you so much funding, which clearly he is intending to just keep? Question mark? Like, okay, William H. Macy, your plans are all over the place. So he's like, call off the kidnapping, because I have this new parking lot money coming in. And they're like, bro, it is too late. She has been napped. Like, it is too late to call the deal off. But then it's like some fuck shit happens where he doesn't get the money for the parking lot, so it doesn't really end up mattering in the end. But then who do we meet but the hero of our story? Pregnant cop Frances McDormand. And she kind of comes into the picture because while they had kidnapped the wife, Steve Buscemi and the other guy get pulled over, and they have a kidnapped person in their car, so they're being sus, and then the cop is like, why are you being sus? And then they killed the state police officer, and they also killed 2 witnesses who had driven by, who had seen them dragging the body, so there's just like several murders happening, and then they flee the scene, and so Frances McDormand is on the fucking case. She's the local law enforcement, and she knows what the fuck is up, and she immediately connects the car back to the dealership where Jerry works, and the whole plan had kind of gone down. So she cracks the fucking case like no problem. She is A1 detective work police officer. No wonder she's the one who stayed on the force while fully pregnant while her husband stayed home. It makes sense. But also, like, Jerry's being so sus. Like, do not try to pull off a heist of this level if you are that bad of a liar. Because anytime he's confronted with any sort of questions about the situation, he's like visible beads of sweat form on his brow. This man...
He gets bright red.
Right? Like, have you ever listened to a fake 911 phone call?
No.
It's like after the fact when they know that it's like actually the murderer who's calling in, or, you know, like some sort of situation like that. You know what I mean?
Sorta, yeah.
Like true crimey shit where it's like, listen to this, and this is the person like begging for 911 for help, but like really they're the one who just killed their wife, like type of beat thing. Or even just real 911 phone calls are incredibly just like fucking wild to listen to. I mean, don't do it if that's like not your steez. I don't know. But at one point he's like practicing like how to tell his father-in-law on the phone that his wife has just been kidnapped. And I'm like, dude, you are so bad. Like, you are such a bad liar. Why did you even, like, this is like me. If I were to try to do something, and the minute I got confronted, I would just start crying. And I simply know that about myself. Like, I would never try to pull off a scheme of this intricate level because I simply know that I don't have the balls for it. I guess Jerry Lundegaard does not have this sort of self-aware nature.
No.
I don't know. But he's also, so like to his father-in-law, he's like, actually the kidnappers like don't want to talk to anyone who isn't me, and they don't want to take money from anyone who isn't me. So I'm just gonna handle this whole thing. And the father-in-law is like, no fucking way, you absolute buffoon. Like, no. And so he goes to deliver the money to the, you know, ransom situation. And at this point, Steve Buscemi is so fucking fed up and over this shit of it being called off, called back on, whatever, that the minute somebody other than Jerry shows up with the money, he's like, I'm over this. And so he just fucking kills him. He kills him and he takes the money. And so he kills the father-in-law, takes the money, but then he realizes that it's $1 million and not
80,000, I think is what it was.
They had been told previously that it would be less money because of the way they were going to get paid out. The whole thing was an elaborate scheme to kind of rip off the guys who were doing it and make more money for Jerry. I don't know.
It's a whole...
Do you need to cough?
Huh? Do I have to cough? Yeah, thank you.
Do you need to cough? But basically, because of this murder, Steve Buscemi realizes that there's way more fucking money happening than he had originally realized, so he buries it. Because he's like, I'm going to go to the other guy and be like, yeah, I got the money, and then split it. But in reality, he's going to take home, like, way more than was originally, you know, dealt with, I guess. So then he gets there, and the other guy has fully killed the wife. He was like, yeah, she wouldn't shut up, so I had fucking murdered her. Steve Buscemi's like, Jesus Christ. So they get into kind of a scuffle. And then he's also like, you won't stop talking, so he just axe murders Steve Buscemi.
Which, to be fair, I would also axe murder Steve Buscemi in this movie.
Right? And so then he, like, dismembers his body and starts shoving him into a wood chipper, which is just spraying Steve Buscemi's flesh, guts, blood, just everywhere. It's just a really inefficient way to dispose of a body, if I'm being quite honest.
Yeah, so, on, like, a white background, too. Like, you can see that from across
on the snowiest movie.
You can see that from across the lake.
Right. And so Frances McDormand all the while has been tracking down. Right? She's just like checking the points, finding the evidence, and so she shows up to the scene, finding him just shoving this body into a wood chipper, and she says, "Police department, put up your hands." And he says, "I will do no such thing." So she fucking caps his ass. She fucking shoots him. He gets it. And then Jerry gets arrested. The whole situation gets dealt with by the hands of the law. And it ends with a Norm's duck painting getting chosen for the 3-cent stamp, which is a huge win for everyone. And that's Fargo. Um,
we had a bit of a long recap for a pretty uncomplicated movie.
right. I don't know.
It's a very complicated but yet also very simple movie. You know?
Right. I always forget the intricacies because I really like this movie. I'm going to say I watch it maybe once every 2-3 years or something. I've probably seen it between 7 and 12 times in my life.
Okay. All right.
And I think every time in my head, I'm like, snowy, fun, pregnant Frances McDormand cop movie.
Forget that, like,
and then I watch
die.
it, and then I'm like, oh, yeah, like, I do forget that there's the whole heist that happens.
Like,
I really do forget the details.
What's the body count of the movie? It's like, 3...
Oh, quite a lot.
4, 5...
4, 5, 6.
Yeah.
A lot. 7... Maybe, I don't know the body count, but I did Google how many times they say yeah, and it's 200. It's been counted 199 and 201, so I just averaged the two sources I conferred with, so I'm just going to average that to 200 yeahs, which is really good.
And you know what? That's what makes the movie.
I will say that the first thing I wrote is, this is a true story. Arrow, fact check this, because this movie opens up by saying that this is a true story and that all of the happenings and characters are based off of true events.
I was wondering,
This is not true. Completely factually untrue. I guess that the closest thing to a real life reference is that somebody in Connecticut, actually, in like the 80s, murdered somebody and put their body in a wood chipper. And that was the closest thing to like an actual reference of real, I guess, like bits and pieces from like murders that had really happened, but like this blanket statement that this is a true event at the beginning of this movie is then immediately at the end of the film when they say like, these are fictional events, any reference to real life is, you know, that legal statement have to put. They just fucking put this at the beginning because they're like, yeah, this will make people think.
Just gripped by it.
Right? Yeah.
And it's the whole thing of like,
honestly, if you told me this was real, I would believe. I'd believe it. It's not entirely unreasonable that this would happen.
No, I think it's
it
was for me. It was the lines in like the that opening shot with like the disclaimer, like, this is real, saying like, oh, names have been changed out of respect for the living, and like this is being told out of like respect for the dead or something like that. That's what really drove it home. I was like, oh shit. Maybe it is. No, just not the case.
No. Nope.
Yeah, no, it feels like something that definitely could have happened. Maybe.
But also, so bold of them.
Right?
So bold of them to be like, yeah, let's just fucking lie. Let's just open this movie with a bold-faced lie.
Maybe that's why it's a masterpiece, because they lie to your face.
Right.
No, I think the masterpiece of this movie is the accents. I was like, is one of the only reasons this movie is funny to me because of their accents.
Yes, absolutely yes. And the Coen brothers are from Minnesota.
So they're speaking
their
truth.
So I think that's maybe why. Yeah, that's why it feels really authentic. I don't believe that people actually, like, that all people talk like that, but I do believe that some people talk like that. It's like when you meet a real townie, like, basically my only point of reference is people in Boston who say, like, pack the car, and you think that they're, like, trying to be funny, but that's truly just how they talk.
Yeah.
But I believe some people in Minnesota sound like this, and honestly, I love that for them, because I think that the accents, but also the dialogue paired with the accents in this movie is what really makes it so, like, this is a funny movie. Yeah. It's a fucking funny movie. I laugh more during Fargo than I do during most, like, traditional comedies. And it is the delivery, the accents. I think the acting is brilliant. I think Frances McDormand has never done anything better. Like,
certainly wasn't Nomadland.
I don't know. Yeah, right. Her shitting in a Home Depot bucket, I don't know. That was pretty raw. That was pretty inspired.
You can either choose one of two Frances McDormands. It's her saying, oh yeah, or her shitting in a Home Depot bucket.
Her blasting Taco Bell diarrhea into a fucking Home Depot bucket. Oh my god.
Did she win anything for this?
But I guess at this... Yeah, she won Best
yeah,
Actress.
I thought so.
Yeah, this movie, so she won for Best Actress, and they won for screenplay for this movie. It was nominated for a bunch of other stuff, but those are the 2 Oscars.
Shocked it didn't win cinematography, because it was gorgeous visually.
It's this movie. So they say that, I mean, I don't know who they are, but Midsummer, they were like, this is the first horror movie shot in daylight or whatever. No, it was I mean, I wouldn't say this is a horror movie, but I'm like, Fargo did it first. If you're talking about like gritty drama violence in the broad daylight of the snow.
I was gonna say, can you call it daylight when the sun is just not there? It's just that snow gray.
Oh, hey, it's Jen, my mom, calling in.
Okay, recording. Are you in like a rush?
No, I just was trying to make that an organic transition because I was just yelling about something. When your notification popped up. But so my mom is here. Jen calls in at the halfway point, generally, of our podcast to host a game called Chocolate or Vanilla. She asks us 2 questions, and we say which one we like better. That is the premise. Jen, how are you?
I am just okay. I have a cold.
So apologies for I told her she didn't have to do it, and she said, no, I would die for the pod. So Jen's sick voice is not me holding her hostage. We don't pay her or anything. So this is not her like trying to earn her keep this week. She simply is doing this out of the love in her heart. So thank you, Jen. Please drink some hot tea after this. I am worried about you.
You're going to have to edit.
Oh, but is there a theme this week?
There's a theme. So the theme is people with bad accents or strong accents or like weird voices in movies. And that's why I have this accent.
Okay. I like this.
I love that. We were just on the accent kick where we were saying, do people actually talk like that in Minnesota?
I have to think, no, she exaggerated it, right?
I don't know.
Oh, you betcha, yeah. Oh, jeez.
All right.
I don't know. He was just funny looking. Sorry.
So, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate. Chocolate, vanilla, or strawberry?
Ooh.
Chocolate.
I'm gonna say vanilla still.
Chocolate. Okay. Okay, so this is already a triple. Mike Myers as Austin Powers, Mike Myers as Wayne in Wayne's World, or Mike Myers as Shrek?
Mike Myers as Shrek. That's the accent. That is the accent of all accents. Mm-hmm. What are you doing in my swamp? Donkey!
This is just gonna be Dara's time to shine when she does all the impersonations.
Oh my god, my bad accent. Okay, maybe this is like when I, in the past, have sang, and nobody's ever called me out for it except for myself publicly apologizing. Maybe I should, I need to stop with the accents. I'm sorry.
No, you need to continue.
No, I think you should keep going. Push it to as far as you can. But I'm also gonna go with Shrek, because it's just classic.
Yeah, Shrek.
Which we will cover someday.
Ooh.
Someday on the pod, we will have to cover at least Shrek 1 and 2. Those are 2 of the greatest films ever made.
I can't tell you how many times people have said you're called the Swamp and you haven't done Shrek yet. No. I'm saving it for a special occasion.
You should do a double.
I was going to say, maybe... maybe for our 1-year Swamp-iversary, we will do Shrek.
I think
this is a tentative promise.
Swamp-iversary.
A few months out.
Right, the Swedish Chef... The Swedish Chef or Forrest Gump?
Oh my god, I'm married to the Swedish Chef. I always I make I make like Henry's profile picture and like my contacts and stuff. The Swedish Chef. He's not Swedish or anything. He can cook and I love the Muppets, so that's just like the intersection of those 2 things that I love. So I will say the Swedish Chef, though my friend Gavin does an incredible Forrest Gump, and Jen almost crashed her car once because Gavin sent me a video of him saying, "Jenny, I'm not a smart man, but I do know what love is." And you swerved. You did swerve the car a little bit because you were laughing so hard. So shouts out to Gavin and his Forrest Gump impression, and not shouts out to me for that bad rendition.
Yeah, no. I also have a soft spot in my heart for the Swedish chef. I just like that he talks in gibberish. That's good enough for me.
I'll go with that. I'll go with Forrest Gump. Okay, for bad Boston accents, we have Alec Baldwin in The Departed or Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting.
Oh my god. We were just talking about how, like, The Departed makes it seem like everyone from Boston talks like that, in the same way that Fargo makes it seem like everyone from the Midwest talks like that. So it's 1-1. I will have to go with Robin Williams in Good Will Hunting, though. I hate that movie.
I don't think I even realized that he's trying to do a Boston accent. That never came across to me.
You have to watch it with that, like, line of thinking. Yeah.
I don't feel like it ever stuck. I always assumed he was from out of town. So I guess for that reason I'll go with Alec Baldwin, because at least I realized that Alec Baldwin's was bad.
That everyone in The Departed just went to the Dunkin' Donuts and observed for an hour, and then that was all the formal vocal training they got on how to deliver their dialogue.
The only person who can pull off a Boston accent is Mark Wahlberg.
Because he's from...
Yeah, he's from Dorchester. Yeah.
Here.
Mm-hmm. All right. For Game of Thrones, Khal Drogo or Samwell Tarly?
Oh, you think they have
I think everyone in Game of Thrones has an accent.
I would say... I guess I'll go with... I mean, if I'm just going to choose between these two characters, because I don't think too much about either of their voices, I guess I'll go with Khal Drogo, because yum.
I'm also going to go with Khal Drogo. Not because it's, like, bad or weird or anything like that, but that, literally, Jason Momoa had to learn an entire fake language, and I just think that's so impressive.
And it's mostly just grunting.
And that's what's so hot about it.
I like Sam, so I'm going to go with Sam. Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins or Daniel Craig in Knives Out?
No, if we are going for worst accents of all time, I would say that probably surveyed the human race, who is the #1 worst accent ever in film, and it is Dick Van Dyke in Mary Poppins. What the fuck was going on there?
It's really bad. Yeah, no, I think it's really bad, but at the same time, I really like Daniel Craig's weird one in Knives Out, so I'm gonna have to go with Daniel Craig, but you're right, Dara.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with and go with Daniel Craig. I thought his accent was ridiculous in that movie. I liked that movie, though. Did you like that movie?
I was gonna say, that whole movie was kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, I liked it.
I feel like it kind of fit.
I love an ensemble
You're like,
cast.
what is this movie missing?
Oh.
James Bond doing a fucked Southern accent.
Harry Potter's mom or Ron Weasley's mom?
Harry Potter's birth mom?
Lily, right?
Do we even hear her talk? Do we even hear...
I don't know, I just wanted
Other than her scream?
I just wanted to put Ron Weasley's mom in there.
Yeah, definitely Ron Weasley's mom, who's also in Mamma Mia, and that was, like, when I connected those two dots, my mind was blown. And also Molly Weasley is the GOAT of the Harry Potter series. Bad bitch, strong mother. What did Lily do? Fucking die at the hands of Voldemort?
All she did was fucking die. Yeah, no. Oh,
that's her major plot point, was that she perished.
Yeah, no, I'm also gonna have to go with Molly Weasley, just because, yeah, like you said, Julie Walters is a fucking force. And I always forget that that's her. Every time. I'm like, oh, Julie!
She's a chameleon.
No one's doing it like her. Yeah, no, for sure. Molly.
Yeah, Molly for the sweep. All right, another triple. So we're double triple today. John Travolta doing the Maryland accent in Hairspray.
Yes.
John Travolta doing the Danny Zuko in Grease, or John Travolta doing the New York accent in Saturday Night Fever?
It's simply, we have covered it on the pod. If you haven't listened to our Hairspray episodes, it's one of my personal favorites we've done with Emily's twin, Alyssa. What a fucking phenomenal film, and what a performance from John Travolta as Edna Turnblad. It has to be that for me. Even though John Travolta brings a certain je ne sais quoi to every role, a little cracked, unhinged type energy, but it's him and Hairspray for me as the take all of John Travolta moments.
No, I'd say that's his best role, and I say that with my whole heart. Pulp Fiction, don't care. Grease, don't give a shit. This is it. He's peaked here.
It's Edna Turnblad for me.
It's Edna. It's Edna folding laundry when she's stressed.
Definitely Edna for the sweep then, yeah. Okay, Bane or Batman?
Bane. I mean, as far as accents go, if we're doing an accent themed, I can't do a Bane, but anyone who can do a good Bane, I think that's such a party trick and a half. In that, like, I don't know, Tom Hardy in that role, why is it doing something for me? The Mask. Also, he is kind of a chameleon for me in that way, where I feel like he's always a little bit similar, but then you're like, oh my god, that's Tom Hardy as Bane, and like that really proved his acting chops to me. And I also love the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, unapologetically.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never did see the what's the movie with Bane in it? Like which?
It's the third one.
Yeah,
I think it was Dark Knight Rises. Yeah.
Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. I never saw it, so I can't speak to that character or that accent really. Like, obviously I've heard it and I know it, but I'll just go with Batman for this one, just because I can't say Bane.
I'll go with Bane. Mario or Luigi?
So, I'm taking this from a strictly Super Smash Brothers Ultimate on the Switch take, and it's Luigi. He does this little thing where he, like, makes his body parallel to the ground, and then he kind of rockets himself forward and then flops on the ground a little bit, and it's just one of the most visually entertaining moves you can perform as a character in Smash. So, Luigi. Also, the brother's always cooler than the protagonist, type beat, so Luigi. I'm a Luigi here.
Yeah, I wish he said Waluigi, because he's got that wah. But yeah, if I can't have evil Luigi, then I'll just go for regular Luigi.
Luigi for the sweep. I'll take a green shirt over a red shirt any day. Emma Watson trying to do an American accent in Perks being a wallflower, or Leo's weird voice in Great Gatsby.
Well, I don't remember being bothered by her American accent in Perks of Being a Wallflower. Was it bad?
No, I think she definitely just tried really hard to not have a British accent.
I guess somebody who always, this is off topic, but somebody who I always forget that they're British is Andrew Garfield. Because I do think he predominantly plays American characters, and then I'll watch him on the Graham Norton show or something, and I'm like, oh, fuck, yeah, you're British, you're fully British. And I always forget, so some, shouts out to Andrew Garfield and his American accent, because it has me fully fooled until I see him in an interview, and then I'm like, oh god. But I guess I'll pick Emma Watson's trying too hard in Perks of Being a Wallflower, I guess.
Yeah, no, yeah, like Dara said, I wasn't bothered by her accent. Her accent that sticks out to me, her American accent, is when she was in the Bling Ring. Have you seen that, Dara?
I didn't see that. No, I didn't see that.
No, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, that very California, just Valley Girl one. And I think she hit the nail on the head for that, and I wasn't bothered by Perks, so I'll give it to her. I'll go for Emma Watson.
Okay, I'll go for Leo in Great Gatsby. Remember, Dara, we were super into that book and that movie when it came out.
Yeah, I do remember reading that book in 7th grade because the movie was coming out, and I remember being very underwhelmed by the movie, being like, oh, okay.
All right, last one. Heath Ledger as the Joker or Heath Ledger as Ennis?
Ah,
Here's the thing.
Jen, my
The
heart.
thing is, he hardly talks as Ennis in that movie.
But it's like talks the least, says the
Yeah.
most kind of thing. Because when he delivers. This is Jen, this is your hardest question you've asked me to date. And I'm gonna say that his performance as the Joker is more impressive of an acting feat than his performance in Brokeback Mountain, although it breaks my heart. I'm picking him as the Joker.
Yeah, I'm also gonna go with him as the Joker. Just like vocally wise, like definitely stands out.
Yeah, kind of like iconic.
Iconic.
Yeah, definitely. All right, we'll take him for the Joker for the sweep then. And that was
This was a good one, Jen.
I love
Thank you.
any two, like Heath. Oh, why are you always asking me these hard questions? It's almost like you have a segment dedicated towards doing so, Jen. You're always making me reflect on my personal values. Oh, it's so hard.
being targeted.
As your mom.
Right. As the host of this segment, and more importantly, as my mother, I will say, okay, this is my open apology that we have not posted the chocolate or vanillas for quite some time on our Instagram, but maybe me saying this will make myself more accountable to do so. I don't know, we'll see. But maybe keep your eyes peeled on our Instagram. Perhaps I will find the motivation to post all of these questions this upcoming week, and we will see your bad accent answers. This is me trying to hold myself accountable. So, sometimes we post them. Most of the time we don't. But as always, thank you so much, Jen. Chocolate or vanilla, always a delight. Always making me feel very introspective. And I love you very much.
All right, thanks. I love you guys. Have a good week.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Bye. I will.
Feel better, Jen. All right.
Jen, always a joy
What would we do without her?
here on the pod. It's just like every week she asks me one that really gets me. Not every week, but like every so often, it's one that really gets me. And now I'm just like, I right this moment have to go watch back to back The Dark Knight
And Brokeback
and
Mountain.
fucking Brokeback Mountain. Like I just
Yeah, that's a good combo.
but
Back to Fargo.
Yeah, but back to Fargo, this movie does make me, like, talk like that, Like, after watching this movie, I'm, like, walking around the house going, like, oh, yeah, you betcha. Oh, geez, you're darn tootin'.
Yeah, it becomes your personality for the next, 3 hours.
Just, right? Okay. Can I say something controversial?
Please, this is the space for it.
Steve Buscemi is sexy in this movie. Also, he's sexy just, like, kind of in general most of the time, but, like, what is it about him in this turtleneck in this movie that is getting me going?
It's the turtleneck.
Am I alone on this? Is Steve Buscemi not kind of hot?
He didn't do it for me, but that could have been because I was violently hungover at 6 p.m. while I watched this. So I don't think
it's an acquired.
I don't think anything could have gotten me turned on while I watched this. So definitely it's not Steve Buscemi. I always just feel so bad. I didn't like that it felt like written into the script. And you quoted it before. I don't know, he was funny looking. Everything like that. Like, he gets shit on so much.
I don't know, he's kind of funny looking. Right, but okay, I will say he has an interesting face.
Yeah.
But he's not ugly. Yeah. I'm here for it. He does have interesting features though. I think it's his canine teeth are like in line with his, I don't know, there's something about his mouth. I think that famous people, like people who are good at acting and people who are good at singing, have weirdly huge mouths. Right?
I can understand.
Am I wrong about this? Like, look at anybody who's insanely talented at singing and then just watch their mouth and look at how far back in their teeth you can see. It's way, like, if I smile, you see to, like, maybe my canines, right? A person, like, Lady Gaga, I don't know, I'm trying to think of, like, people who can really belt it. When they sing, you can see their fucking molars.
Like, singers, it makes sense, but you think actors have a similar thing?
I think actors, too. I think your face can be maybe more expressive the bigger your mouth is. Or, I don't know, this is, I'm just making blind statements here, but I think...
it's like how the best like hockey players are born like early in the year kind of thing. All of the best actors have ginormous mouths.
Right. Well, at least singers. I think you have an advantage, tactical advantage if your mouth is big. But I think for actors too, I do think that if your face is shaped in a way that can just be more naturally expressive, or like that you have better control over your face muscles or something.
So do you think it's Steve Buscemi's ginormous mouth that really gets to you?
Yes. Yes, it is.
That's fair. To each their own, sister.
But you know who's actually like funny looking is fucking William H. Macy. Like, he's funny. Like, they're saying that Steve Buscemi's funny looking, and they somehow got an actor who's even more, like, unique looking.
I don't even know.
I don't want to use the word inbred, because I think that's kind of rude, but, like, he looks like a pug.
To me, he just looks, like, punchable in this movie, which is definitely, like, intentional.
Yeah, his character is so infuriating, and this is like IMDb fun facts 101 of me just like regurgitating some shit I read online, but I know he read the script for this and he auditioned for it, and then they're like, we'll get back to you. Yes, and they didn't get back to him, and he showed up on set and he was like, if you don't like cast me, this is the biggest mistake. And they were like, okay, I guess you're being so aggro about it. But I think he plays this character so uniquely. I don't think you can realize how many layers there are to like a type of person who is innately so polite repressing the urge to be aggressive and like portraying that in a way that your audience understands, like the way the conversation between him and Frances McDormand in the car dealership, where like she's asking him questions and he's being a bad liar and then getting defensive about it, I think is like between the two of them an acting like scene that should be studied by everyone, because the sort of depth of like what kind of person they are and the way they respond and the way that those actors chose to portray those like deep personal things about somebody. I don't know anything about acting or filmmaking, but when I watch that, I'm like, holy shit, they really are getting it. Like, they're doing the thing that this film wants to achieve, which is why I think it's so good.
Yeah, no, he gives me the same. There's, have you ever, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, there's this one quote by Orson Welles talking about Woody Allen and how he's just such a meek little piece of shit sort of thing. And
no, I do not know to what you're referring, but please continue.
No, like just William H. Macy's character reminds me so much of it. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. Orson Welles. I think it's...
Yeah, I love having... I think you could argue that there really is no main character in this film, but if it is Jerry Lundegaard, he is despicable. Like, I love having a main character who you can love to fucking hate. I love a good villain. He's the villain of this story. He's truly the villain.
Hold on. Do you want to hear this quote? It's...
Yes, I would love to.
Hold on, I can't find... Oh, okay. Says, I hate Woody Allen physically. I dislike that kind of man. I can hardly bear to talk to him. He has the Chaplin disease. That particular combination of arrogance and timidity, sets my teeth on edge. And then someone was like, oh, he's not arrogant, he's shy. Or, not arrogant, he's shy. And then he rebuttals with, he is arrogant. Like all people with timid personalities, his arrogance is unlimited. Anybody who speaks quietly and shrivels up in company is unbelievably arrogant. He acts shy, he's not. He's scared. He hates himself, he loves himself. A very tense situation. It's people like me who have to carry on and pretend to be modest. And then it gets into a whole thing. But yeah, no, very much gives me like the same sort of vibe that Jerry Lundegaard has in this movie.
Yes.
I don't know why that
what
just
an
popped,
amazing connection
into my head so quick, but
no, you couldn't be more right though. And also like fuck that guy. And that's how I feel about Jerry Lundegaard. It's like fuck that guy.
Like so arrogant to be like, oh, I'm gonna fucking just have my wife kidnapped because I can't ask my father-in-law for money.
Right. Yeah, just like so fragile and so and I think like the shroud of Midwestern politeness that is over this movie is an incredibly interesting cultural take to have on just like sort of a blanket, like everyone who talks to each other as being very upfront, like, oh yeah, how are ya? That's real nice. Oh yeah. But like it's like the subtext that you have to pay attention to, which is, I don't know why I like this movie a lot, because I think I don't know, like it's visually is a 10 out of 10 for me, but like it's the fucking writing. Like this movie won Best Screenplay deservedly for a reason, and not every other Coen brothers film really does it for me in the way that this one specifically does. Like if every Coen brothers film was like this, I would kind of get the hype, but to me it's like here and there. Like I can appreciate, The Big Lebowski. I'm a fan of that one, but just their specific type of filmmaking, I think, is, kind of an acquired taste. And I have an acquired taste for Fargo, and that I maybe don't have for some of their other works. But just everything Jerry does is just fucking wrong and extra and bad. And I love feeling so conflicted with the main character being like, oh, why? That's not the right thing to say. That's not the right thing to do. And everything he does, I'm like frustrated at. And I like that. I like yelling at my TV.
Yeah, you love to hate him.
And I think the contrast between him and Marge as like arguably our two protagonists is so good, because everything she does, I'm like, yes, I would have never thought of that. You're amazing and great. And then everything he does, I'm like, no, fuck you. You're horrible.
It's two different sides of like a very long spectrum.
Henry turned to me, so I think Henry had seen this movie maybe like once or twice before. He's looking at me inquisitively. Hey, what are your thoughts on this film, Hank? I was just about to say about how you turned to me and said, is this a feminist text? to which I said, yes.
I think it's a great movie. I think it's a timeless masterpiece. It's a goofy tale. It glorifies the police, which I'm not down with, but otherwise it's pretty good.
If you didn't catch that, Hank said, all cops are bastards except for Marge Gunderson.
And he's right.
Yeah, which he's very much right for.
Should we get into our regular scheduled programming? Because now I'm on the topic of Marge.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that I would marry her in an instant.
Oh, yeah. So do we want to do Fuck, Marry, Kill? Who would we consider to be the three main characters of this movie? Would it be Frances McDormand, William H. Macy, and Steve Buscemi?
I'd say so, yeah. I the one that I had planned out in my head was, like, the three, like, actual criminals of this movie. But at the same time, what's the blonde guy's name?
I could not. Okay, so I had it fully convinced in my head that this was the same actor who's from the opening scene in Pulp Fiction where they're in the diner, but then Henry was like, no, you're so wrong.
Wait,
and I was like, they look a lot alike.
That scene? No, they don't.
But it's not.
I don't know what you're talking
Maybe I'm just
that man
crazy.
Is scrawny.
But, yeah. I don't know. Maybe he did a body transformation. But his name in the film is something that starts with two of the same letter. Oh, we haven't even talked about... So I haven't seen Fargo the TV show. Have you? I haven't either. I'll have to watch it. It has been recommended
Who's
to
in
the
it?
highest. Ewan McGregor.
Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, fucking Martin Freeman, Kirsten Dunst, Jesse Plemons, Colin Hanks. Yeah, insane cast, and has gotten incredible reception. I just haven't gotten around to watching it, but everyone who has recommended it to me has said, like, I cannot believe you're not watching this show. It is so good. I haven't watched the Fargo TV show. If any of our listeners, if you've seen it and want to like push my desire to watch it more, DM us and fucking convince me. Because I mean, I'm already convinced. But
Christ. All right.
It's executive produced by the Coen brothers, but they didn't like write it or direct it or anything. Oh, but his name is Gear Grimes in the movie. The person we're talking about, but the actor's name is Peter Stormare. I don't really know. He was in Prison Break, which I didn't watch. Yeah. But his name in the movie is Gear. But so what you were saying to do Steve Buscemi, Gear, and William H. Macy?
I feel like that's a one to make you think. Because here's my thing, is we're all going to marry Marge. It's the obvious choice.
You're right. This poses a little bit more of a conflict, but yet I don't feel conflicted at all. I'm killing Jerry Lundegaard. Yep. Fuck that motherfucker. I am going to fuck Steve Buscemi because I just don't think I could be married to his character. He seems kind of difficult. But I don't know. Gear seems like a woman hater, and I think maybe I could get Steve Buscemi on my side. So I'm gonna quick step back a few seconds. I'm going to fuck Gear, marry Steve Buscemi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's the hard thing of like obviously like I'm gonna kill Jerry Lundegaard, no question. But it's the difficult thing of I feel like I could live in silence married to Gear, and I'd be so fine with that. But also I'd die.
You know he hates you. Yeah, like he's gonna kill
also,
you.
Like if I snore like a little too loud, I won't wake up the next morning.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like maybe
I don't know.
That's a man I could fix.
I was gonna say, like, do you think you could fix Steve Buscemi? I don't know. I feel like I could.
I think I'm equally as talkative. I think I could be on par with that.
I don't know.
Also, I just think Steve Buscemi is sexy. I don't know. I've said it and I'll stand by it. I think he's hot in this movie.
I feel like Steve Buscemi, there's at least a little bit to work with, I guess. You can fix him. Yeah, I'll go ahead.
Right, with Gear, we're not getting much.
No. Gear is like, if I get married to that man, it's terminal. I only have like a year to live, tops kind of thing. So, yeah, I'll fuck Gear and then I guess marry Steve. We can both fix him. We could be a joint effort.
Well, we're gonna have to like fuck them in the same room at the same time because clearly that's their thing. Like, when that happens in this movie, I'm like, who, what, why, what?
Like, two people that, like, objectively, like, hate each other, too. You know what I mean?
Right. I guess they could only afford one hotel room and two call girls, but, like, still not...
Like, do you be fucking in the same room with your homie?
Not convincing enough for me. That's a little bit gay. I'm just gonna say it. That's a little gay.
No, sir.
Because, like, unless you nut at the same time, then it's mad awkward, you know? Unless you can synchronize nuts.
Someone's got that post-nut clarity and is realizing how foul of what they just did is. While the other one's still going. It's just not a good setup. But what do you have any strong opinions about what to eat or drink for this?
Oh wait, we have to do the whole movie,
yes.
Because obviously we're gonna marry Marge, but I want to be like included in the throuple kind of situation. Duh. Like I don't even need to marry in, but I just want to be like, I don't know, their maid or like their mail lady or something. Like I just want to be a part of their life in any possible way because they both seem so delightful for Marge and Norm. So marry into that, yes please. I'm gonna fuck Shep, the hot mechanic.
Nice.
Cause I was just catching something. Like in that first scene where Jerry goes to him and starts like asking him about like what the situation is, I wrote, fuck Shep, the hot mechanic. because there's not a ton of fuckable people in this movie. And although I do find Steve Buscemi quite insatiable here, it's Shep the Hot Mechanic for me. And then I'm still gonna kill Jerry Lundegaard because fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah, under no circumstances would I ever let Jerry live in my version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. So I am still gonna kill Jerry as well. Yeah, I understand the joining their throuple thing, but I would rather be solely married to Marge. It's just the ideal situation for me.
But I just want, like, Marge is, like, stewing over some casework. Norm is painting a mallard duck, and I'm, like, in the kitchen making us hot cocoa. Does that not sound like the perfect winter's eve to you? It just makes me feel domestic.
You're not wrong. But yeah, no, I'm gonna marry Marge, and then I'm gonna fuck... Who's her partner? He brings her coffee in the morning, when they're checking out the dead body.
Oh,
yeah,
Lou?
I'm gonna fuck Lou.
Yeah, Lou. I'm not sure I agree with you 100% there with your police work, Lou. That's the best quote in this whole movie. Because it's her being like, I'm being so polite, but also I'm telling you, you're fucking wrong.
Yeah, no. For no other reason than he seems like a nice guy.
You always with the holistic choice, I feel. Always such pure of heart.
He'd bring me, like, hot tea afterwards or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, jeez. Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Do you think that someone could make... Hold on.
Then,
do you think the Minnesota accent can be sexy? Yes or no? Like...
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Absolutely, yes. I think it's hilarious. Oh, yeah. I think you can make anything sexy, and I think that the Minnesota accent is no exception to this rule.
Good, I'm glad.
But, so we're talking about food and drink. And do you have a concrete answer? Because I'm a little all over the place with this.
No. These, came from, I don't even know where in my mind. It's just a feeling, I guess. I said, if I'm watching this movie, I want, like, a big stack of waffles.
I wrote
Shut
pancakes.
The fuck up.
Yeah, well, because Norm makes her breakfast, but he just makes her
eggs,
and that's not super exciting. So I'm like, yeah, and you just do like a cute little breakfast moment. I think that could really like homey. This movie does feel homey to me.
Here's my ideal situation for this movie: is it's like a Saturday. You don't have work. You have your whole day to yourself. Snowstorm. Obviously, you put on Fargo. You have the day to yourself. What are you gonna do? Make pancakes. Have your coffee. Put some Baileys in it. There you go. If you're feeling really crazy, make a White Russian if you want. I know that's not this. I know that's not this Coen Brothers movie.
God.
I know that's like Big Lebowski, like beat, but I think waffles and a White Russian.
I had the same thing. I said, why does this feel like a White Russian kind of movie? I know it's the wrong Coen Brothers movie, but it still feels right here. It's like winter snow, like winter cozy. Like, it's like more strong than a coffee drink, like you said, but still in that sort of vein of like cozy. Yeah, I do think a White Russian does feel right here, although it simply is like begs to be followed by the Big Lebowski.
You can do, but
I said, yeah, either you do a breakfast, you had Arby's, they eat Arby's in this movie, so I'd say just like get DoorDash from your favorite like just like cheap fast foodie, like get Five Guys, get just some sort of like greasy takeout delivered to your door. And then also maybe ice cream, like get a pint of Ben and Jerry's, like just to yourself because it's
just go to
cold
town on it.
And fitting.
I have a question.
Right. Also soup.
I did eat soup while I watched this movie. I was choking down tomato soup. Oh,
what kind?
The Trader Joe's creamy tomato soup. Like I said, I was hungover until 6 p.m.
Stunning.
So,
with a grilled cheese?
I couldn't
with
I couldn't
a grilled cheese.
Oh. But
that's the combo that will put me to death. Is a good grilled cheese and a tomato soup.
But my question for you is: have you ever had Arby's? Because I've never had Arby's in my life.
I've never had Arby's. I'm not gonna say I'm not a huge fast food person because I probably eat fast food as much as the average American, like just when I have to, kind of thing. But I don't really seek it out, and I don't think Arby's is particularly regional to New England. So I don't think we grew up really around a lot of Arby's, or like if I ever came in encounter with them, it just like there was also a Wendy's there, so I just picked that kind of thing. So no, I've never had Arby's. Have you?
No, and the reason I ask is because I promised. One of my roommates is vegetarian, so she can't have it, but she's always wanted to know what it's about and what it actually is like. Because Arby's, I feel like less so when this movie was made, but now Arby's to me just seems like a foul institution. And so
yeah, what is it about Arby's? Like,
just
doesn't
too much
sit right with me.
But I don't know. I promised. I promised her that I would get Arby's for her at one point and eat it. So if someone has what should I get at Arby's?
Yeah. A vivid description
either a vivid
of Arby's,
description of Arby's, or tell me what I should get at Arby's to get the real experience.
I think curly fries. I think they're supposed to have. I feel like their advertisements are based on their curly fries, so that would be the only thing I would say to you. But this is off the cuff. But your favorite fast food establishment, and it has to have a drive-through. So you can't say like Chipotle because that's that's the next tier up
right now.
Kind of deal. So what is your favorite American fast food institution? Mine is Taco Bell.
Really, I feel like mine hasn't pivoted too much since when we were young and in high school, and it's still Wendy's because I feel like Wendy's was like the typical thing.
We were big.
It's
Wendy's
consumers. I'm still a little whore for a 4 for $4. You know what I mean? Because I am still broke, but I want all of my gross food.
Also, there's something about getting a baked potato. Like, why can I get a baked potato at Wendy's? It's not even particularly good, but I just want to do it.
Because you can.
Something about the Wendy's. Yeah, Wendy's I would put up there in my like top tier, but for me it's Taco Bell. If anyone out there is in the hiring process and wants somebody to just do crack and sit in a room with the 8 ingredients that they have at a Taco Bell and come up with new configurations, because everything, I mean, at any fast food establishment, but like Pizza Hut, especially like any pizza place, basically Taco Bell, they just have they have very basic 6 things there. And everything is like, now we put the cheese inside the bread, and now the sauce is on the side, or, everything like that. I just want to sit in a room and stare at some lettuce and think, what can we do with this? But also, I'm gonna need some stimulants, if you know what I mean. Just cracked out of my mind coming up with new taco configurations. I just think it could be right.
That you say that you.
So
I like that you say you need to do crack for this, because before we started recording, you were literally talking about how if you did cocaine, you would die.
I know. We were just talking about being hungover and whatever. I don't know. And I was like, yeah, my resting heartbeat is 135. So if I did a single line of cocaine, I would simply die on the minute it even came within a 1 foot vicinity of my face. I would perish. So yeah, I'm just saying out there, whoever at Taco Bell, I will do crack. I will do crack and I will die 24 hours later, but I will come up with your next 100 menu items in the 24 hours being. So just consider this an open offer. And so do you have a movie to follow this up with?
So I figured it's kind of a Coen Brothers staple to have bad criminals, or just criminals that are not good at their job in their movies. And so I decided I wanted to do follow this up with a movie that
I think that's
has really good criminals.
If I were to rank all Leonardo DiCaprio movies, that really might be quite up there for me.
For sure. Him and Tom Hanks together.
So good.
So good. Duo. Yeah.
And as far as criminal cop dynamic, this movie has a really good criminal cop dynamic as far as you're really frustrated. And in Catch Me If You Can, you're kind of into it.
It's even more,
or at least I am.
That movie kind of edges you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, he's so close. Not anymore.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
It's also on the opposite end of...
pretty interestingly, I also I have two, but my first one is also a Tom Hanks movie.
Oh, okay.
And so I thought to myself, this movie, snow. Simply, it is a snow-based film.
Mm-hmm.
What is the opposite? What do I want after to just flip the script? And that is a tropical beaches.
Shut up.
What movie? What movie is set entirely on the beach? Castaway.
I love that movie.
So you follow this. This movie is all snow, but then you hard cut to Castaway, which is all on the beach. So it's all about the scenery and like hard flip for the scenery. And I felt like that could be like kind of cute. Also, if you wanted to do a planned night around this, I think that would be so fun. Like winter, summer, like, you know, snow beach. I don't know. I was getting into it in my head. But what I think is even better of a suggestion is that like a criminal or like, you know, a person, I guess, who just comes up with a scheme and a plan, and just every step of the way it simply does not go the way they want it to go, and you as a viewer get to spectate along the process the way their entire reality crumbles apart as the scheme they have made just like it makes you as a viewer just like anxiety ridden, but also like, oh my god, what's gonna happen? Like, how is this person going to fail yet another way? That's how I feel during Fargo, and that's how I feel during Uncut Gems.
Oh,
which
that's a good one.
Is, I would also say another string of connection would be, this is the Coen brothers. That's the Safdie? Sifte?
Safdie?
How do you... Brothers, yeah, Safdie brothers, and so two brother duo film making, you know, geniuses, as some would argue, and so you do Fargo, then you do Uncut Gems, as far as like frustrating criminal pursuits. Like it just to make you as a viewer feel very anxious about what is yet to come.
Yeah, no, I like that.
They felt very right, yeah, very similar.
And what would you rate this?
I'm gonna give it like a 7.5. I like this movie a lot. I think Marge is in like the top maybe like 10, 15 best like female characters ever in film. I don't know if that's controversial of me to say, but even though she's a cop, it's good shit happening here. And I just like this movie. It's just a pleasure to watch. I enjoy it every time I watch it. It's an engaging storyline. And then when I reflect back on it, I'm like, yes, that is a movie that I enjoy. So I'm going to give it, like, it's not quite in that top 20% of, like, best, like, because I reserve anything, like, an 8 and up is, like, the top films I would consider. Like, if somebody asks me what's your favorite movies, like, those are ones I go to. And this is, like, edging on that, but it's like a 7.5, like a 7.885 for me.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 6.5. 6.5. I remember the first time I watched this movie, and it really did nothing for me. Yeah, weird. I think it's because I was like told to watch it, sort of thing. But I had a really enjoyable time watching it. I don't think I ever watch it under great circumstances. I was like, I could watch it or I could sleep. But I'm glad that I didn't sleep, and I'm glad I watched this movie, because it is really enjoyable, and I genuinely liked it a lot more the second time around. So, yeah, 6.5 for me. I think if I watch it more too, like, it's one of those ones it'll keep going up and up in my ratings, but.
Yeah, I will say, out of the handful of Coen Brothers films that I've seen, this to me stands out as far as, like, what people praise about their directing and their writing and stuff. Like, I get it across, like, I generally enjoy it all, but, like, this is the one that stands out as the example to me of, like, this is the most successfully made film that, to me, you know, as an audience member, that they have ever, like, translated. This is it. I like the other ones, but this is just, yes, this is the one.
Word. Yeah.
But okay, to like leave you all off with before we like start wrapping things up for real with a little bit of trivia, because as I was like skimming through IMDb about like the people in this movie and what else they have been in, it absolutely blew my fucking mind. So Norm, the husband to Frances McDormand in this movie, is Twisty the fucking clown from American Horror Story Freak Show.
Oh my god.
And, like, don't you totally see it now?
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, that's him.
Oh, God. That's, like, one person I would want to give, like, the biggest hug and the last person I would want to touch me.
Right? That was the plot line that really revived American Horror Story for a second hump for me. Because, like, seasons maybe 1 through 3, I was like, yes. And then it kind of, like, dipped maybe a little bit. But then the Twisty the Clown plot line in fucking Freak Show, really, I was just like, yes, I'm here for this. And that's fucking Norm Gustafson from Fargo. Wild.
Ugh.
Wild, absolutely. I was like, I would have never organically made that association.
That's unnerving.
Right?
I don't like that.
the range on this man.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I hated that character. I mean, rightfully so, but yeah.
Yeah, but I guess just to wrap things up, thank you everyone for listening. We're doing Snow Month, which is gonna start to get kind of vague because we're gonna start to do some movies that maybe don't have a ton of snow. So this is the heavyweight snow puller for this month, whereas everything else, maybe
yeah.
a little questionable.
I'm not sure that our next week's episode even has any snow in it.
I was told that it does in theory, so
spiritually there's snow.
Yeah, so we're coming up on maybe some less snow-filled ones, so really rake in the snow with Fargo as you see fit. But thanks to everyone for listening. You all are amazing and great. Thank you all for interacting with our stuff on social media. Like I said, I'll try to get the social chocolate or vanilla polls out this week. I'm kind of bad about that, but everything is in the description below if you don't already follow us on Instagram, Twitter, all that good shit, TikTok. And we also love getting DMs from all of you regarding movies that you think we should cover or just movies that you think we should watch. Like, I love getting stuff where it's like, oh my god, I've never seen that. And then I go and I watch the trailer and it's like, oh my god, I can't believe I've never seen that. It looks so good. So please just DM us with anything that you think we might want to cover or that you like. We really appreciate it. Also, taking theme suggestions for these upcoming, if you have any. If you're like, I really think you should cover all movies that are set during the Civil War. To that, I will say, how fucking boring. But I probably will be a little more polite than that. But if you have some sort of particular theme ideas, we've honestly gotten a couple of really great ones in the past. So monthly theme ideas, but also just general movie suggestions as a whole. And, I love you, and if I could give you a hug through this microphone, I would. Also, I don't know if we did it last week, but enormous shouts out to everyone who posted about us being on their Spotify Wrapped this year. I'm not gonna lie, I did cry about it.
Mm-hmm.